Hey, happy Sunday afternoon. It's about coming up on 1:30. Um, I finally went to the junkyard. No, that's not right. The Used Auto Parts Recycling Center or something like that. And got the bracket I need for my Cherokee for Project Humble Jeep. Also picked up a door latch for 88 to 98 Chevy pickup truck. Um, Door doesn't close on it now. It's one of the school vehicles. It's our secondary plow truck. This one over here is our primary. Yeah, that one. I think that's a 97 Super Duty or F250, which is technically a Super Duty. Um, got that one back in service last week. So it occurred to me as I was preparing to go to the salvage yard, local salvage yard. When I say local, it's half an hour, 45 minutes away. And that's going to vary for you guys too. I'm here in south central eastern Pennsylvania. So some things you should do before you go to the salvage yard. Hopefully the vehicle you're driving to the salvage yard is not the one you're going to the salvage yard for parts for. In my case it was. So what you want to do before you go is familiarize yourself with how to remove the part or parts that you need from the salvage yard so you know what tools to take spares, so you know how the part or parts come off the vehicle, so you know what kind of vehicle you're looking for. Most salvage yards, the one I just came back from, has a sort of a map. It's just the basic color block layout, like a giant spreadsheet that shows where certain types of vehicles. I don't know that they do manufacturers. I was looking for Jeep parts, so they said that's in their truck section, which is on the west side of their yard. Take gloves, rags. I like these. Didn't wear them. I had them with me, but I didn't wear them. Or your typical work style gloves like these, so you don't get your hands crappied up in case you're taking your wife, your girlfriend, or other significant other's vehicle to the junkyard. You don't want to come back and drive home with greasy hands. What I've found is really effective for cleaning up your hands afterwards is take a spray bottle, fill it mostly full of water, put a little Dawn in it. Put a lot of Dawn in it. Dawn is really good at cutting grease. And take some clean rags with you, some dirty rags, assortment. Something else you might want to do when you're going to the salvage yard to recycle some parts onto your vehicle. Inventory your tools when you're done before you leave the salvage yard. That way you're less likely to leave tools behind. And not that there's anything wrong with that from my perspective. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a salvage yard and found some tools that somebody was nice enough to leave behind. So inventory your tools when you're all done pulling your parts. And make sure you have everything with you that you came to the yard with. Take power tools. When I say power tools, I mean reciprocating saw. You're going to need one. You're not allowed to take torches, grinders, jacks. There's other things that they have rules for, and those are basically fire hazards. But if you have a half impact and impact sockets, take those along. If you got to pull a wheel off, take something that's going to give you the ability to take a wheel off without breaking your back or breaking your knuckles. This thing is amazing. I have two of these now, and I took one with me with a 1/4-inch drive set and a 1/4-inch adapter, and it's beats hand wrenching when you're taking parts off of. Now you can't always get into tight places with it, but
like I said earlier, know what tools you're going to need and then take some extras. If you think you're going to need a deep socket, take a shallow along as well, because sometimes the shallow socket is going to be the better choice, especially if you're using a power tool like that and you need to get into a tighter area. And some common courtesy in the salvage yard, try not to break any parts that are in your way of getting at the parts that you need, because somebody else might need those. Reciprocity can be a bitch. You're going there to get a certain part, and then the guy before you is one of those guys that just smashes brakes and leaves parts laying all over the place, leaves a trail of wreckage behind him just to get his parts. He's interested in getting stuff for himself, not even thinking about the guy that's got to come after him and might need something that he didn't. So little common courtesy in the salvage yard, it goes miles and miles and miles. Don't be the guy that just destroys things. I had to get the door latch out of that Silverado today for the school, and part of the process of getting that out, let the window come down. So I made sure that when I left, the window was back up. You have to take things out, just throw them back in, put a screw or two in them, and or bolt, whatever. Make it easy for the next guy coming to take something that you didn't. So anyhow, this is the part for today for my Jeep, for my vehicle. I did a little bit to clean it up before I put it on. So this was for the job, and I'm going to turn you around here. For the new intake I put on this, this is the old bracket for the power steering pump. This is going to be the new one. This has the tension adjuster on this. This came off of probably a late 90s, mid to late 90s Grand Cherokee with the 4-liter 6-cylinder in. It's 2 bolts here and 1 bolt behind, plus the 3 bolts that hold the power steering pump to this. Now this, the Grand Cherokee that this one came off of did not have this intake on it. It had the old style intake. But I'm hoping that's not going to make a difference, and that these 3 bolts will go through this bracket, and I can use this to adjust it. And then I can get rid of that awful screeching sound every time I start my Jeep up and have to drive it. So I'm going to try and pause this here and get that off. Now I do something a little different. I see guys struggling with this. I am taking the electric fan out of here. It's 2 bolts. They're 7 or 8 millimeters right here. Pull this out of the way, get this whole thing out of the way. It gives you plenty of room in the front here to get at the bolts on this and the bracket. So that's my next step, is to pull this off and get it out of there, unplug it, and we'll go from there. So 8 minutes and 20 seconds in, we'll see how long it takes me to get this ready to put the new bracket on. Be back. Alrighty, running into all kinds of problems. Another salvage yard run tip, don't forget the bolts. I wasn't even thinking when I pulled this bracket off, and I put all the bolts in the air cleaner of the donor vehicle, and yep, I'm missing some. And the one I'm having the hardest with is that one here in the block. I can't seem to find one to fit, and I think that's because there's never been a bolt in there. It is threaded. I checked the depth on it. It's very shallow. So it takes a really short bolt. I tried cutting some off, and you know, one thread seems like it's too big, the next one seems like it's too small. So when you're pulling your parts, don't forget your nuts and bolts. The other thing, I can't believe I did this. I don't know that I've ever done this, but I scuffed my radiator, and now I'm oozing. I'm going to use another word, but oozing is a more appropriate word. Oozing antifreeze. And one other thing on this, before I did this upgrade, I got a new belt, serpentine belt for this vehicle.
and it worked. You know, after I got the intake on and I rigged in the old power steering bracket, I got all that working, but this is a different type of adjuster, and I should have, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. I may end up putting everything back together, which is going to be a pain. And then the other thing that's causing me grief, oh, let's puncture the radiator again. I'm going to turn you around here so you can see. I probably should have grabbed the power steering pump off of that other Jeep, but notice anything missing on the front of that? Yeah, there's no holes. So at the very least, I should have grabbed the, well, I didn't have the tool to take it off, but should have grabbed the other pulley. I'm going to get something out of my box here and try and strap that back so it doesn't fall into the radiator and give me more holes. So, yeah, I may shut her down right here. I won't. I'll pause it and see where I get. I'm going to probably end up putting the old arrangement back in. What do I do with it? Yeah. So here's the old nonsense, and it looks perfectly fine until you flip it over and you see how much material, and you can see where this is hitting and causing me my trouble. I may try and just put this back in there, grind this off some more in this area, and put it back on for now until I can get the rest of the parts I need. So that's a brand new radiator too. That really burns my cookies. But what are you gonna do? Doo-doo occurs. So anyhow, I'll piddle fart around with this a little bit more. I think I'm just gonna put grind that bracket off and put it back in. And then the other thing, not that it matters at this point, but the other thing I did the last time, and that's probably why this, I don't know if it was this that contacted the radiator or if it was one of my tools when I was trying to get bolts out, but I didn't remove this time. And as I recall, when I did this intake, I had this out of here, and the power steering pump was laying over in this area out of the way where it wasn't going to do any damage. And I should have done that. I forgot. And that's what happens when you get old. Don't do it. It sucks. So I think I'm just going to put this back together for now, the way it was. See if I can get her over. Here's my puddle. See if I can get her over to Advance and put a tube of sealer in this for now. I hate doing it, but it's the quickest way to fix something like this. If I had some, I tried putting some RTV on there, and the water just pushes right through it. So maybe they'll have another option for me. Maybe I can get some, oh, what's that stuff called? Got a 7 in it. Bonds to anything, glass to wood to metal to plastic to you name it. PC7, does that sound right? I don't know. Maybe I'll get some of that and roll it up and just try and stuff it in there. I may leave the electric fan out of there for the trip over there. Put it in when I get there after I see if that stuff's going to work. So anyhow, that's going to be it for now. Kept it under 15 minutes. See you next time. Hopefully it won't be too long, probably sometime this week when I get the rest of the stuff together to put this back together with the right bracket and everything else. So like, subscribe, share. I know there's a lot of you guys watching this that aren't subscribed. I would appreciate a sub if you don't mind. I try and reciprocate, and if you have a channel, I try and sub right back to you. I actually have 2 channels and I sub with both of them. So you're getting 2 for 1 here. So like, subscribe, share, take care. God bless. Stay well.